Welcome back. It is day 2 of our Learning to Crochet challenge, and we're actually going to learn our first stitch today. So yesterday I gave you a bunch of information for making sure that you have materials together that are going to give you the best chance of learning crochet easily, and today we're going to put all of that stuff to work as we learn the chain stitch. Alright, so to get started with our washcloth, the first thing that we need to do is learn the chain stitch. So here I have my hook, my size H hook, and I have the end of my yarn. The very first thing that we need to do is something called a slip knot. To do this, I'm going to wrap the yarn like this around my hook so that I have the small end here on the top and my working yarn, the rest that's attached to my skein over here, it's right now on the bottom. And I'm holding it in place with my finger. Throughout this, you'll see how holding it with your fingers really helps when you don't have a lot going on yet with your yarn. It keeps it from falling off. So now I'm going to take this small end and simply put it on top. You can see how it's on top of my other end of the yarn over here. And now I'm going to do something called a yarn over, where I just wrap that long piece of yarn around the hook like this. So this is what it should look like. And now to create our slip knot, I'm going to keep a hold of all of this to keep control of it, and I'm going to pull my hook with this getting trapped in there, and I'm going to turn it downwards very slowly. So I can start out here, pull it and go down very slowly, and I pull that loop of yarn through the first part that I'd created right here. This is a slip knot. So we're going to pull that. You don't have to pull it as hard as you can and pull it tight, but you should pull it too, so you have a little knot down here. And now I have a loop that I can pull in and out as I want to. This is how we get started with our chain stitch, but this does not count as a stitch. This is just our slip knot. But the rest of making a chain is going to look just like this. We're going to repeat what we just did over and over. We're going to wrap the yarn over like this, pull it in and down, and go through. That is a chain stitch. You see how it looks just the same? But now we can actually count this as a chain stitch because the first one does not really count. It was our slip knot. So this is what we're going to do over and over again, and this is what we're just trying to master today, is wrapping the yarn over and turning the hook down in like this. Wrap, do it in. Wrap, do it in. That's all that's involved with the chain stitch. Now don't be surprised if when you get started you have some that turn out big and some that turn out really small and they just look uneven like this. That's okay. What you want to do for today is you want to practice it until you're starting to maybe see that they're even, that they're consistent. Mine are pretty much all look the same, and that's what you want to aim for. You just keep wrapping the yarn over and drawing it through. Wrap the yarn over, draw it through. You do this for as long as you need to. You can make, feet and feet of this chain stitch if you want. You just continue to go over and over, and you can see that I just generally do this by habit now. I'm holding it with my fingers, but you do whatever works for you. The only thing that you want to remember to do, as I said before in the video, is you want to see this as your tool that is picking up the yarn. So if you're doing something where you're trying to force the yarn and you take your hand off of your hook, or you're just trying to manipulate it without using the hook to make it work for you, then that's not going to help you long term. You really want to see the hook as your tool. It's like another special finger you have, and you want to use that to bring your yarn in. And as you keep going, you even use it to wrap the yarn instead of having to do this over and over if you want. That kind of depends on what works for you. Alright, so that's the chain stitch. and I will see you back to work on the rest of it. Once you have gotten the hang of the chain stitch, you're going to want to end up with a chain that is 21 stitches long. So you can chain and chain and chain and chain all you want, and you can do bracelets or bookmarks if you want to make something out of your chains. But once you get the hang of it, come back and do a chain 21 inches long. So let's see how long that would be. This yarn, do my slip knot again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17. That's 20 and 21. So once you have practiced your chain stitch and you think you've got the hang of it, come back and do a fresh piece that is 21 stitches long, and that is what we're going to need for our next step in making our washcloth. Alright, so now that you know how to do the chain stitch, I want you to work on it until you feel comfortable with it and until your stitches are starting to turn out evenly, meaning that they all look about the same. It's totally normal to have stitches that are different sizes or that get pulled tighter or looser. But by the end of today, or before you move on to our next step in our project, I want you to get to a point where you feel like you're getting the hang of it. And the nice thing is, once you get the hang of the chain stitch, your hands have actually already learned the motions that are going to make all of the other stitches easier. So chain as much as you want, or as long as it's enjoyable, and then go back and start a new chain. You can pull your first stitches out, or you can cut your yarn and start a whole nother chain. And you need to have a chain that is 21 stitches long, 21 chains long, and that will set you up for tomorrow's assignment.